Dustin, I got to be honest, I had one hope for this media day, and it was that you would bring me some of your Creole maple hot sauce.
Well, I'll
Bro.
tell you what, they're shipping some today. I get it today at the Airbnb. I only have one bottle there.
Yeah.
But when I get
Can
it,
you raise your mic?
I'll bring you. I'll bring you some.
How excited you get for like a launch like that? I mean, you're decked out in all the gear. How excited are you to launch that thing?
I'm very excited. You know, it's been a lot of work. We have a great team behind the hot sauce. Proud of the products we're putting out. It's fun. You know, it's fun.
Yeah. It's been kind of a weird year for you, man, because like last year I would almost say that one could argue you were almost too busy, like 3 5-round fights.
Yeah,
And then
three big fights too. Very big.
three
fights.
huge 5-round fights that you did a lot of media for, a lot of training for, obviously. And then you were going to be crazy enough to take a fight in January. And then it's taken you 11 months to get here. Like, what has this year been like for you?
It's been a lot of unknown, like waiting around with the UFC, asking what's happening, trying to get a fight. But then back home, got into a rhythm. Schedule with my daughter, schedule with training and local fighters, getting prepared for fights. So I stayed busy the whole time.
Did it agitate you at all? Did dude, this is my career. I would like a fight. This is how I make money. Like,
At the beginning, I was getting aggravated because I was coming off of a loss, and in the past, I've always just tried to get back in there and get a win, you know, right the ship. But having this long layoff, you know, the first couple of months after that fight, scrambling, trying to get another fight was aggravating. And then kind of things set in, and, you know,
Yeah.
life continues.
well, Mike Brown, you know, and he's your coach, so he's probably going to say this, but I know Mike to be a pretty honest guy, and,
Yeah.
and he wouldn't just like completely make up something out of nowhere. Like he's made it a point to say like this is like the hardest working, best version of Dustin I've seen. You know, like do you agree with him, and where do you think that's coming from?
It's definitely from him seeing me every day on the mats. He even came to Louisiana for a little bit and helped me train out there just because I had such a long layoff. I would say it's the truth. You know, I'm just focused. I know what matters. I've been doing this a long time. That's just it.
I got to ask you about this, and I don't know if you've answered this already, maybe similar outlets, maybe today even, but can you tell me the story of UFC 279? Like your potential involvement in UFC 279?
The Chandler thing?
When Hamzat missed weight.
Oh, yeah. That was actually when Mike Brown came. So he came the Thursday. He came on his birthday, the Thursday before the weigh-ins, like that week, fight week.
Yep.
I hadn't been in contact with the UFC about potentially being a backup, being ready, or anything like that. Mike Brown comes in on his birthday, flies into Lafayette. I take him to a nice Cajun dinner at Prejean's restaurant. We eat all kinds of stuff, have a fun night, go to sleep. We were going to train that next day, and UFC hits me up like early in the morning. Hey, where's your weight at? Is there would you be willing to jump in? I'm like, oh God, here we go. My coach is here. We can just fly straight from here. Let's go. And I've already been training. You know, I was already in decent shape. Did a video call so they can show the athletic weight of me stepping on the scale. So, you know, show I wasn't lying about my weight. I accepted the fight. It was crazy. I had a private plane with some guys I know who were going to bring me straight there, get me there in like 4 hours. I had everything in line. So it was I thought it was happening.
So it went from that to like you thought it was happening,
Yeah.
and then
I even started cutting weight. I was like, all right, well,
started
I have to
cutting
be
weight?
170. Yeah, 171. I can do same day weigh-ins. That's what we were trying to see if the athletic commission would let me weigh in on fight day. Mm-hmm. All kind of stuff happened. Yeah, but I accepted the fight with Nate.
That's so wild. So then, how did you find out that it wasn't you weren't going to be
It
needed?
came down to Hunter called me and let me know. Say thank you so much for being there and being ready to go. Notice the fight you've been wanting, and we tried to set up multiple times. I think it ultimately came down to the athletic commission. Medicals, flying over there, making weight, and same day when they already had a guy there who had done his medicals, who had made weight and was ready to go with Tony.
Yeah.
I think it just made more sense. It was easier, less obstacles for them to just do that. But the things were in motion for me to go.
How do you feel about? I mean, I think you understand obviously the business of the sport and why the UFC makes certain decisions that they make. At the end of the day, how do you feel about you're probably never going to fight Nate Diaz, or at least it kind of looks unlikely now to me. You know, like that was a fight that you wanted. It was a fight that made sense. It was a fight that was booked at one point. Like, how do you feel about it not happening?
It sucks. It was as a fight fan, a fight that I've always wanted. Watching him since I was young, you know. But that's just the way it goes. It sucks. It couldn't happen, but multiple times. Even after I fought Oliveira, that I think there was a card in LA or something a week after. I had got a call from the UFC a couple of days after I got back home from the Oliveira fight. Hey, are you injured, or how's everything going? Would you be willing to fight on like a week's notice? So it's been a lot of roller coaster stuff with this Nate Diaz.
Yeah, and again, like you're you're not a guy who has been fighting for 3 years. You know, like you are an established guy in this sport, and the fact that you're getting calls that hey, can you take a fight in 2 weeks? Hey, can you take a fight now? Can you jump on a private plane?
Yeah.
Are you cool with that?
That's fun. That makes it exciting for me. It's
Yeah.
fun. I like that unexpected stuff. It gets me excited to take chances and do things like that.
Yep. So how do you feel about this fight, just in terms of, obviously you've been in a lot of big fights. This has stakes when it comes to rankings and everything else that's going to happen. Like, what's at stake, I guess, for you in this fight?
I mean, everything's at stake every fight, obviously. But I'm kind of pushing all that stuff aside, like the ranking, the new champ, potential title shot, all of that stuff. Even I'm trying to even push away the bouncing back. Like I have 40-something fights. I've never lost 2 in a row, going back to 2007. You know, I've never lost 2 ever. Never lost 2 fights in a row. Coming off of a loss, I got to get this win. It's just I'm trying to push everything aside and focus on me. I want this fight for me. All those things aside, ranking, money, Chandler, all that stuff. Because there's a lot of fun stuff I can get caught up in. You know, I've beat a lot of former world champions. Chandler's another. That's another notch in my legacy and resume and things that I do think about. But I'm trying my best to just compartmentalize this fight. I'm doing this for me.
Do you think you're a different version of yourself when you do come off of a loss? Because you hear that a lot in the sport. Like you guys are sore losers, man. You want to get back in there. You don't like the feeling of sitting on a loss. Like, do you think you're a different guy after a loss?
It's tough to. I don't know. I mean, I always want to win every fight, just as much as I want to win this one. I don't know. You know, I always want it.
Yep. I guess final thing for you is, throughout your career, the belt has meant a lot. Like, you wanted to be a champion in this sport, you know, and now you're saying that you're trying to kind of push that to the side. Like, is that a different?
That's just maybe a personal process that I've been using this fight to stay focused on what I can control. You know, because none of that stuff matters until after Saturday night. Then I can say, all right, here we are. Maybe a title shot, maybe contender fight, whatever. But none of that matters until the final bell rings this Saturday.
Yeah.
So I'm just trying to focus on what I can control, and that's this fight with Michael Chandler. All the other stuff is just noise as of right now.
Yeah.
Sunday morning, it'll be a whole different story.
For sure. Yep. All right, man. We'll let you go. We're really looking forward to the fight. Thank you
Thanks,
so much
man.
for the time, dude.
Thanks for watching ESPN on YouTube. For live streaming, sports, and premium content, subscribe to ESPN+.